Hey guys, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here. And the question I'm asking today is, where does privacy end and government surveillance begin? And the reason why I'm talking about this is that we have, in the last 2 to 3 weeks in the United States here, if you're not in the United States, we've had 2 to 3 mass shootings. One in, I believe it was California, the Gilroy Garlic Festival, another one in El Paso, Texas, and another one in Dayton, Ohio, if I am remembering all of my cities correctly. And I apologize if I am not, but news travels fast in this country. And the reason why I'm talking about this is that there have been calls from the FBI to basically create a tool that will give them access to, and I quote, social media early alerting. In other words, they want to be able to go through social media, the Facebook, the Twitters of the world, and basically spot these people before they show up. Now, I'm going to quote here from the request for proposal from the FBI, and I quote, with increased use of social media platforms by subjects of current FBI investigations in individuals that pose a threat to the United States, it is critical to obtain a service which will allow the FBI to identify relevant information from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and other social media platforms in a timely fashion. Consequently, the FBI needs near real-time access to a full range of social media exchanges in order to obtain the most current information available in furtherance of its law enforcement missions. It is an acknowledged fact that virtually every incident and subject of FBI investigative interest has a presence online. The mission-critical exploitation of social media enables the Bureau to proactively detect, disrupt, and investigate an ever-growing diverse range of threats. Now, basically, the FBI is looking for some kind of interactive tool that can be accessed by all headquarters, divisions, field office personnel via web browsers and through multiple devices, including mobile, as they are looking for these people. And we have seen an increase in basically cooperation with social media platforms like Facebook that is basically generating AI. And we already know, and I've done multiple videos on this, that basically if you're posting anything on Facebook, it's not you and your friends that see it, it's you, your friends, and Mark Zuckerberg, aka Facebook, that can. And they are giving, thanks to the PRISM project that we've known since at least 2014, they have been giving federal law enforcement in the United States access to this. Now, so the question is, where does our privacy end and our government surveillance begin? We obviously have a problem with mass shootings. I think everybody in the United States can agree with that, even though we may have different answers to that solution. And this is not going to devolve into a debate on firearms or what to do here. I'm speaking specifically on the surveillance tool that is ramping up. But here's the thing, and if we're looking at this overall, we oftentimes make laws to the lowest common denominator. We are looking to basically see who is the worst of us, and then how can we basically make a law that is going to find the worst of us, but also in a way impacts all of us that are just living our lives day to day. We all have opinions, good, bad, and ugly, depending on the situation. And do we really want those to be surveilled? Now, I think a lot of us are already, aware that if we go on to pretty much any social media platform, especially the major ones like the Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams, etc., that we are being data mined and all of that. But where is the expectation of privacy here? I understand the FBI's need, to want to be able to find these people. I mean, nobody wants to go through a mass shooting. Nobody wants to see another shooting or another terrorist incident or something like that. But at the same token, are we sacrificing our right to privacy? This is in the same vein as the San Bernardino shooter back in 2016, if I recall correctly, where he had an encrypted iPhone that the FBI couldn't get into, and the FBI went to Apple and basically said, you need to break your encryption so that we can get into this dead terrorist's cell phone. And Apple said, no, if we basically break our encryption for that one iPhone, we're breaking it for millions of iPhones out there, thus making people essentially less safe, less private. And so that's the question for today. Where does that begin? Well, I think we absolutely need law enforcement. Nobody wants to see these things. We also have to, have a certain amount of privacy that's guaranteed, at least in the United States, by our Constitution. And I know several other countries around the world also have a right to privacy law as well. This is the whole GDPR thing in Europe as well. So that's the question. Basically, where does our privacy, end and the government surveillance begin? And I think it's a very important question that we're going to need to ask in perpetuity, because as we continue to expand and evolve social media platforms from small to utterly massive, this is not going away. And if people are trying to get their message out here, as let's say I do every day, and you're watching me here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or any one of these other platforms, I see this as a valuable tool. I'm able to, let's say, hopefully spread a little bit of education, awareness, and news to everybody that may not necessarily get it and that follows me. In that vein, we also know that people that want to go ahead and shoot up a school are going to post their manifestos online or something along those lines. So I think it's a question that we really need to contemplate and really ask ourselves. I by default, I am on the privacy side of this. I don't want laws written to the lowest common denominator in society because, quite frankly, overwhelmingly, 99.99999% of us are not terrorists. We're not shooters. We don't want, to have anything like that in our lives, nor would we ever perpetrate that. And so that's the question. How do we actually handle that? How do we have an early detection warning system that doesn't actually violate our privacy? And can we actually do that? I think that's a question that we need to discuss. And I think that's a question that we need to figure out. And so that is your news/question of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks.